Hi, I'm Richard Morais, Senior Minister at Unity of Phoenix Spiritual Center, and I want to thank you for visiting our website and for tuning in to today's message. If you feel inspired by today's talk, I really encourage you to make a donation by hitting that button below and making a contribution to this ministry. It'll allow us to continue these messages online and to do the great work we do here at Unity of Phoenix, which is to inspire people to live better lives. So thanks for tuning in, thanks for your support, and we hope to see you at a Sunday real soon.
So there's this husband and wife, and they were getting ready to go to bed. And the wife says to her husband, "Honey, I think you left the light on in the shed." Well, he hadn't been in the shed for 3 days. And he went to the kitchen, he looked out there, and sure enough, the light was on in the shed, and the doors were open, and there were 3 guys loading his tools into their pickup truck. So he picks up the phone, he dials 911. He calls the dispatcher. The dispatcher says, "How can I help you?" He said, "Hey, there's 3 guys unloading my tools out of my shed into their truck." And the dispatcher says, "Well, are you okay in the house? Is anybody in the house? Is anybody hurt?" No, we're fine. Okay, great. Well, we'll be there. We're real busy right now. We'll be there as soon as we can get there. So the man hangs up the phone. He counts to 30. Dials 911 again, picks up the phone and says, "Hi, it's me again. The guys are still taking stuff out of my shed, but it's okay because I shot them all." And he hangs up. 3 minutes later, 3 police cars, an ambulance, and the SWAT team come roaring into his driveway, catch the guys single-handedly right in the act. Now, if it were me, I would have made him put the stuff back in the shed, but I don't know if they did or not, but that's what I would have done, because I think the punishment should fit the crime, right? So they arrest the guys, and the police chief says to the man, "Hey, I thought you said you shot the guys." And the man says to the policeman, "Yeah, and I thought you were busy." Thank you. Mean what you say and say what you mean, right? Because the title of my talk today is Words That Can Change Your Life. Since the very beginning, human beings have looked for words to express what they saw all around them, to explain natural phenomena, the rain and the snow, because they didn't have science, they didn't understand it, they just had to explain it by observation. They tried to control their environment by different words, and they imagined that a storm up on the mountain with lightning and thunder meant that God was angry, and they had to find the right prayers to appease this angry God. They used words to summon the good things they wanted in life, fame and power and love. Through poetry and songs, we see beautiful words in those things. They tried to be like the great illusionists, like David Copperfield, and come up with a magic term that would bring whatever they wanted into their life, like abracadabra, presto changeo, to fulfill their desires. They created legends and stories about wise men who could spin straw into gold. They had legends and fairy tales about witches who could come up with a brew to either cure and heal or curse someone, or maybe even make a love potion. Ancient people tried invoking the spirits of the gods on their behalf through the use of words. The ancient Israelites developed a whole way of making animal sacrifices to appease this angry God so that they would be in right relationship with God. As human beings, we've always looked for the right words to express what we were saying. We've looked for words to stop the storms in our lives. If you remember the story about Jesus and his disciples, they got in a boat and they rowed out to the middle of the Sea of Galilee, and this storm blew up, and there was lightning, and there was thunder, and the rain was blowing sideways, and the disciples were afraid, and they woke Jesus up. I don't know how he could sleep through that, but that's the story. They woke Jesus up, and they said, Master, do something." He stood up in the boat. He claimed his power. He put his arm out and he said, "Peace, be still. Peace, be still." And that's how we calm all of the storms in our lives, by a simple use of the words, peace, be still. Because simply using words makes it come into being. Our words create our world by speaking them, by believing them, by having faith in them, and by acting on them. What we speak And what we think creates our reality. So watch what you're saying. Words have the power to change your lives. In the book, Open Your Mind to Receive, Reverend Catherine Ponder, well-known Unity minister, wrote lots and lots and lots of books on prosperity. Tells a story about one of her prosperity classes. A man comes to her who owns a restaurant. And he says, my restaurant's not doing very well. I've been here years. I used to have lots and lots of clientele, but they seem to have wandered away. What should I do? And she said, well, let me come over to the restaurant and I'll see what I think. So a couple days later, she goes to the restaurant, and the minute she walks in, it's dingy, and it's not very clean, and it's not fresh, and the menus have stains on them, and she figures out right away that's the problem. And she tells him, you need to freshen up this place. Some paint, clean it up a little bit. He said, all right, that's what I'll do. And then she noticed as she was getting ready to leave, there was a sign by the cash register, and it said, this is a non-profit business. We didn't plan it to be that way. It just worked out that way. Words have the power to change our lives. She recommended he get rid of that sign because it was bringing to him a non-profit restaurant. The words were actually creating losses in his business. She said if he wanted to prosper, he had to get rid of his negative thinking and the negative words. Every day, each one of us uses lots and lots and lots of words. And our words are powerful. They produce results that match their meaning. So say what you mean and mean what you say. Many times, we don't pay attention to the words we're saying, that we say them by rote. So I'm going to say some negative words, so I want you to know that ahead of time. That's a spoiler alert. Do not take these words into your consciousness. You may have said some of these yourself. Oh, that makes me sick. Or, I hate it when. Or even worse, we invite other people into our hatred and we say, don't you just hate it when? Whatever. My mother, who had 4 kids in less than 5 years, and we were pretty rowdy, used to say, you kids are driving me crazy. And she was right. It was our personal mission as children. Before a play starts, we say to the actors, break a leg, or knock 'em dead. Oh, goodness. I really, really, really would not want someone to say that to me as I was coming out here to speak to you and then find all of you in that condition. Yikes. Watch what you say. If you don't watch what you say, you're going to be sick, hateful, crazy, with a broken leg, and maybe dead. Eliminate those words from your vocabulary. Our words create our world, but sometimes what we wear speaks louder than words. For example, the gentleman with the Rolex watch, or the lady with the diamond ring, or beautiful designer clothes, that speaks of prosperity, doesn't it? I was at a theme park in Orlando a few years ago, and this couple was coming towards me, and they both had on light blue t-shirts with white words, and the words said, I'm with stupid. And they had arrows to point to each other, except they weren't walking in the right position. They were reversed, so the arrows pointed away. But who wears a t-shirt like that? Or who goes with a person who wears a t-shirt like that? Maybe that's a better question. I guess that tells the story. So last year, because my grandson, it was his first Christmas, I bought a whole lot of things out of catalogs, and a lot of them were for children. And this year, I've gotten catalogs I never even knew existed. It's been really fun. One of the catalogs I got was a catalog of t-shirts that have slogans on them. I'm going to share some of those with you. For some reason, there's a t-shirt that's about Robert. Now, I don't know if you can change the name if you're not Robert, but they have Robert t-shirts. The one I liked the best was Robert, the man, the myth, the legend. Or for some of us, we might want to wear this one. It's born to be wild, and underneath in little letters it says until 9 p.m. And how many of you have pets? This is for you if you have pets. Dogs have owners. Cats have staff. And if you have a cat, you know that's true. I like this one. Some of my best friends are imaginary. And there's some for siblings, right? There's one that says, I'm the oldest. I make the rules. I'm the middle. I'm the reason there are rules. I'm the youngest, the rules don't apply to me. Or there's one that says, I'm an only child. What are rules? There's one that says, I don't repeat gossip, so listen carefully. There's one with a baby onesie, the little t-shirt that snaps between the legs that are so cute, and it says, I still live with my parents. Here's my personal favorite, though. Being cremated is my last hope for a smoking hot body. That's a good one. That's a good one. Even words that are printed on a t-shirt help create our reality because words have the power to change our lives. Catherine Ponder says that your words are your gift of prophecy. Now, she's not talking about some special psychic gift that only a few have. Prophecy means an oral utterance. In the dictionary, it's defined as to make a prediction, to utter by or as if divine inspiration, what you're talking about is divinely inspired to create in your life. Think about that. To prophesy means to predict with assurance. So Catherine Ponder says, our words become our prophecy, a prediction of the future, simply by speaking them, hearing them, and believing them. She says if you're not satisfied with your life, you can begin using your gift of prophecy to improve your life. She says that we can change our words and we'll change our world. She said that when we improve our words, we will improve our world. And when we transform our words, we transform our world. Are you ready for that? I am ready for that. I am ready to transform this world into a place that's sustainable for all. Words are causal. They evoke feelings and they convey meanings. They literally draw what we're talking about to us. They're like a magnet. Catherine was moving out of her apartment. Her son had grown up and joined the Air Force, and he was no longer living in the apartment with her, and she was trying to pack everything up, and you know how difficult that is. And she kept thinking to herself, oh, I wish my son Richard were here. He'd be able to help me. He knows how to move things, and he knows how to take things apart. Oh, I wish Richard were here. And then she stopped herself because she realized Richard had his own life now. She had to figure this out on her own, and it wasn't fair to call him back. So pretty soon the doorbell rings, and the two little neighbor kids come over, a little boy and a little girl, and they say, hey, Reverend Ponder, we heard you're moving. Can we help you pack? She's like, well, yeah, sure. Come on in. So she got them busy. I don't know, maybe she gave them books. You know, they don't break. They're little kids, and ministers have lots and lots and lots of books. And so they were working away and starting to get done faster. And she's like, thank you, God, for sending me help. I really appreciate that. And the doorbell rings again. And she answers the door. And there's a young man standing there. He's about the same height as her son. And he says, hi, Reverend Ponder. He says, I'm visiting my parents next door. My little brother and sister are helping you. I'm wondering if you need some help. Maybe I could move something for you or take something apart. And she's like, oh, my goodness, that's exactly what I need. Come on in. And she stopped and she said, what's your name? And he said, Richard. Exactly. That's exactly what he said. Her gift of prophecy, wishing that Richard were there, had brought another Richard into her life to give her help. Words have the power to change your life. Jesus understood this mysterious power of prophecy and the spoken word. When his disciples were asking him, Master, you know, you're getting so popular. All these people are coming to hear you, and many of them are not Jewish, and we're Jewish, and we're not allowed to eat with people who aren't Jewish because they don't follow our dietary laws. What are we going to do? You know, we're out in the field, and you're talking, and people are bringing out food, and we're not allowed to be with them. And Jesus had these amazing words. He said, it's not what goes into the mouth that defiles us. It's what comes out of the mouth that defiles us. It's not what goes into us that defiles us. It's what comes out of our mouth that defiles us. Are we speaking words that defile us? Are we saying that terrible 4-letter word I don't ever want to hear you say? Can't? Are we holding ourselves back from our greater good because we say we can't do it? That we're not strong enough or smart enough or pretty enough or rich enough? I can't. Don't say it. Remove that word from your vocabulary. Start using words that give us life and vitality and illumination. Every word we say sets up this vibration of whatever we're saying, and it causes that thing to be drawn to us. You know, we know that when people are sick and they're trying to invent a new drug, they get a group of people who have the same illness, and they divide them in half, and one side they give them the drug that they're testing, and on the other side they give them a placebo, a drug that has absolutely no effect. And if the drug is good and it works, the people on the drug get better. But the interesting thing is, a lot of times the people on the placebo also get better. Why? Because they're told that this is a drug that's going to make them better. It's the power of suggestion. Now, if you're feeling bad and you keep saying how sick you are, don't expect to get better. You're just going to get sicker. Have you ever been to an organ recital? An organ recital is when old people get together and they talk about their hip replacements. I have one. Their knee replacements, their gallbladder surgery, their cataract surgery. That's an organ recital. But you know, if you're sick and you start saying, I'm feeling better, before long, you'll be feeling better. That's just how our minds work. The great Emmett Fox advises us to go on a mental diet, to stop thinking negative things. I'm going to take that a step further. Go on a mental diet to stop thinking negative things, and go on an oral diet to stop saying negative things. In his book, Prosperity, Charles Fillmore, co-founder of the Unity Movement, says, "Your words are charged with great spiritual life force. Be careful of your words. We are held accountable for our lightest word. If you speak negative words, your substance will be decreased. If you talk in a positive, appreciative, grateful way, you will be prospered." There's the formula, my friends. Get positive. It's all we need to know. But are we practicing it? Some of you are, I know. Are we matching every word that we say with positive things? Mr. Fillmore says in Christian Healing, certain words used persistently mold and transform conditions in the body, in the mind, and in the affairs. There's a 4-letter word that I'm going to let you say, and that word is love. Because love overcomes hate, resistance, opposition, obstinacy, anger, jealousy, and all states of consciousness where there's a mental or physical friction. Mr. Fillmore says every word brings forth after its own kind because it's a seed with the creative idea inherent in it, and it comes straight from the parental source, which is God. So maybe instead of saying, "Don't you just hate that?" we could say instead, no matter what it is, "Don't you just love that? Love it right out of your life." Bye. Imagine the results that would come from saying that you love everything. Love is a generative energy that changes everything. Do your mental housekeeping and get rid of all those poverty words. The Buddhists say to practice it this way. Practice right effort. Encourage good, helpful thoughts. Discourage unwholesome, destructive thoughts. Well, that's exactly what Mr. Fillmore was saying. Practice right mindfulness. Be aware of what you feel, think, and do in every moment. Practice right meditation. Calm mind. Practice meditation, which leads to nirvana. That's peace, be still. Nirvana is enlightenment. Because we have the power of our words to change our lives. In his book, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, the first agreement is, be impeccable with your words. He says, why your word? Your word is a power you have to create. Your word is a gift that comes directly from God. He quotes the Gospel of John. In the very beginning, it says, "In the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word is God." Through your word, you express your creative power. It's through your word that you manifest everything, not just some things, everything. What you dream, what you feel, what you really manifest through the word. Remember Daniel Nahmod? We sing his songs all the time. He's been here as a fabulous singer. He writes all his songs, and the words are amazing. So good. He was at the Southeast Region Conference about 4 years ago, and there's one song on his album that I love, and it's his version of Alleluia. And he does it with a female voice. And I asked him who that person was. I said, "Her voice is beautiful. I would love it if you did more songs with her." And he said, "So would I." He said, "She's my wife." And he said, "She doesn't think she can sing." And I'm like, holy cow. He said her brother told her when she was a little girl that she had a terrible voice. And she believed that to this day as an adult, which is really a shame because she'd gone through life missing opportunities to share that beautiful voice with so many people. She'd made an agreement. Let someone else make an agreement for her that colored her life. Are we allowing someone else in our life, someone's opinion, even though it's erroneous? Do we believe it? Are we taking their opinion and making an agreement that defines who we are? I hope not. People who are financially poor have used their words and talked themselves into prosperity. Through better jobs or through more business, they've affirmed it and it's come into their life. If you have trouble getting along with someone at work, many years ago, there was someone I had trouble working with, and so I developed an affirmation. I'll make up the name so you won't know who it is to protect the innocent. And it was, "Go, Johnny, go, Johnny, go, go, go. Go, Johnny, go, Johnny, go, go, go." And pretty soon, Johnny announced he'd gotten a better job. He'd gotten a raise. We threw a great going away party. We were really glad to see Johnny go. Go, Johnny, go, Johnny, go, go, go. That's how you get rid of the things in your life you don't like. Go, go. When we begin to recognize the power of our words, how it influences our body, how it influences our spirit, how it influences everything, it's like saying abracadabra presto changeo. How many times have you bought a lottery ticket and you said to yourself, "I don't know why I'm buying this thing. I never win anything." Yeah. Well, don't be surprised if you're not winning. Change your affirmation. In Chicken Soup for the Soul, Think Positive, Live Happy, there's a story about a woman who every time there was any kind of contest, she entered it. So she entered a contest to win cat food, to win a trip to Hawaii, and one to join the Pepsi generation. That was a pretty long time ago, but you may remember that. So the cat food company sent her a check for $50. Pretty good. She didn't win the trip to Hawaii, but they sent her a Polaroid camera. That was pretty good. And the Pepsi people sent her a biking outfit because on the entry, they asked what her favorite sport was, and she said biking. So she got a biking outfit. So a few months goes by, and she sees an announcement on the bulletin board at the Women's Center promoting a class called Learn the Art and Skill of Winning Contests and Sweepstakes. Well, that sounds like fun. She was intrigued, so she signed up. Now, she took a lot of classes, and so she had this game she played with her husband that she'd say, "Honey, I signed up for another class. Can you guess what it is?" And he had 20 questions to ask to figure out what it was. Well, this is the first one that she stumped him on. And when she told him what it was, he said, "Really?" He said, "Do you really think there's any skill to winning a contest?" She got her back up and she said, "Let me tell you something. I'm saying right now, by the end of this year, I'm going to win something that's worth more than $5,000. You just wait and see." So she went to the class. The teacher was telling him all about all the things that she had won. And the first thing that she suggested was that they subscribe to a contest newsletter. I didn't even know there was such a thing. I guess it lists all the sweepstakes and things that are going on. Maybe they can advertise in them. She said there's only one rule. You have to follow the instructions of the contest perfectly. If they want you to write your name and address on a 3x5 card and put it in a number 10 envelope and write in block letters, do that exactly. Don't write in cursive and don't send a postcard. If they want a postcard, send a postcard and only give them the information they want. Do exactly as they say. And then she told him, even if there's a major trip like the trip to Hawaii, a lot of times they give away smaller prizes too, like the woman had gotten the Polaroid camera. And then she reminded them of the 3 Ps: patience, persistence, and postage. And the woman said, wait a minute, there's another one: positive thinking. So the woman went out and got some 3x5 cards, she got some envelopes, she got some postage, and she started filling out all these entries. Well, as the weeks went by, her mail got really interesting. She got 7 Polaroid cameras, assorted t-shirts, flowers, one of those big exercise balls, potted plants, costume jewelry, books, wallets. She was just winning stuff all over the place. There was some pretty interesting and weird stuff that were these sub prizes, and the ones she couldn't use, she gave away to her friends. So later in November, she gets a phone call. She answers the phone, and they ask if it's her name. She says yes. And they say, you have just won a fully loaded Ford Escort station wagon. She's like, oh my goodness. So she calls her husband at work. She never calls him at work to bother him, but she's like, sorry to bother you, honey, but remember when I said that I was going to win something worth more than $5,000 before the end of the year? Guess what I won? She told him she won a car. He couldn't believe it. So when she went down to pick up the car, it was given by the newspaper, not even by the Ford Motor Company. She went down to pick up the car, and they took pictures of her, and they interviewed her. And when it was over, she said, I just have one question. She said, in your entry, it said you were only allowed 1 entry per family. Did anybody do more than 1 entry? And they said, oh, yeah, lots of people did. You know what we did with those? We took them all and threw all of them away. They lost their right to win when they didn't follow the directions. And the caveat is the next week she went to a charity function and she won a bottle of wine. She didn't drink wine. She gave it to her friend, and she told her friend, remember the power of positive thinking. Can we begin to use our positive thinking and positive words to create exactly what we want in our lives? Once we've developed this new habit of speaking and thinking, our positive words and positive thoughts will bring our good to us. We don't have to use that incantation, abracadabra, presto, change, or we don't need a magic potion or a spell. The positive words of simple faith that we know what we're speaking about is coming true makes us constantly aware of God's presence right here and right now, and that it's God's good pleasure to give us the kingdom as our divine birthright, because all good comes from God. And God wants us to live abundantly, limitlessly, with lots and lots of blessings. And that's why I say, words have the power to change your life. Thank you.